Welcome to this short presentation describing the final project Ocean Farmers has carried out under the Global SeaweedSTAR initiative. The project has secured the initial stages for development of local native strains of Capophycus for culture by community farmers. The work was funded by the Global Challenges Research Fund and managed by the Scottish Institute of Marine Science. Globally, the current farm strains of Capophycus, mainly Capophycus alvarezi and Capophycus striatum, have experienced significant losses in performance related to strain vigor, quality, and increased susceptibility to disease. The use of similar culture material and continued vegetative propagation over decades has resulted in a narrowing of genetic diversity and a near-global monoculture. This realization led ocean farmers to undertake a native strain development program to secure increased genetic diversity of cultivars through sexual reproduction, thus improving the resilience of plants to disease, revitalizing strain vigor, yield, quality, and importantly, avoiding the need to import new foreign genetic material. This in turn will ensure long-term environmental safety, performance, and resilience of the sector, ultimately benefiting seaweed farming communities in Madagascar. Seaweed of the genus Capophycus, known in the industry as cottony, today represents an important economic activity for the southwest of Madagascar. The Tambalang variety is the main strain cultivated in Madagascar today and imported from Asia via Tanzania roughly 30 years ago. Although selected for its high carrageenan content and interesting functionalities, it originated in an environment radically different. Ocean Farmers currently engages 1,650 contracted seaweed farming households, producing more than 1,500 tons of dry seaweed in 2020 across more than 40 villages. The creation of sustainable livelihoods for marginalized coastal communities is expected to reduce pressure on local fish stocks. In addition, the company has developed partnerships with 240 sea cucumber households under the sustainable aquaculture model. Ocean Farmers, through a network of field technicians, manages production under seasonal limitations and the presence of naturally occurring diseases, mainly ice and epiphyte colonization. Despite these efforts, constraints remain, and thus the conception of this project. The project has enabled the formation of a long-term research partnership between Ocean Farmers and Dr. Michael Walida of the University of the Philippines. Vital knowledge and support has been transferred in the early stages of the project by providing guidelines and protocols for development and operation of the pilot hatchery, for germplasm banking, sexual reproduction of wild native fertile plants, and controlled growth measurements of seaweed. The one-year project ending in November 2021 has enabled construction of the first private pilot macroalga seed bank and hatchery in the Western Indian Ocean. These facilities form the basis of the development of native Capophycus cultivars. The seedlings produced are to be distributed free of charge for cultivation by Malagasy community farmers partnered with the company. Research authorization to work with native plants has been granted by the Malagasy Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries in recognition and support for this critical work to secure the national seaweed sector. Additionally, the project has also led the national administration to include a network of macroalgae seed banks in the 5-year National Aquaculture Strategy and Development Plan. Finally, the global pandemic has taught us to adapt and form remote working partnerships to transfer knowledge in place of field trips. Delays to the project and readjustment of the timeline has meant that participation of commercial research partners, Cargill and Seedling, have been postponed. The native strain development program will take place in the hatchery and lagoon nursery areas, requiring the following steps: collection of fertile wild seaweed, genetic analysis, induction of sporulation, culture of cultivars, analysis of growth data in a controlled environment, control and analysis of growth data at sea, and sampling for drying and analysis of carrageenan by Cargill. Past work carried out by Ocean Farmers and its partners to identify suitable local strains for culture concluded that local Capophycus strains need improvement by selection and induction of sexual reproduction. This led to a subsequent Global SeaweedSTAR project, where 6 locations in the southwest of Madagascar were sampled to genotype wild Capophycus species. Early results have indicated genetically diverse populations of potentially novel species of Capophycus are present, based on the small number of samples analysed between 2 sites, thus providing a strong starting point for the development of the strain program in the hatchery. The hatchery design was improved over the course of the project, requiring additional private investment to ensure suitability for future requirements. Fresh seawater is supplied from the adjacent sea cucumber hatchery, and the energy supply is 100% solar electric with battery storage for 24-hour operation. The building includes a small culture laboratory containing racks for maintaining seaweed samples and basic culture equipment, including a microscope and autoclave. 18 50-litre glass aquariums provide an area for maintaining plants, and a life support system includes 2 air blowers and a small gravity-fed seawater filter. We're currently testing parameters in the hatchery, and the first collection of wild fertile plants will follow. In conclusion, farming companies need to take the initiative and engage in fundamental scientific work to develop local native strains for culture. It is also important that a national strategy is in place to support this work and secure environmental safety. The important work carried out by SAMS Institute supporting biosecurity of the seaweed farming sector must be continued to allow sustainable expansion. Finally, achievements and difficulties faced during the process of achieving improved sustainability must be shared among the seaweed farming community for others to learn and benefit by.